Welcome to Gym Owner Freedom. I am Scott Carpenter, and I am a former broke, struggling, frustrated, and overworked gym owner that felt stuck no matter what I did to try and improve the business. Once I realized that the answer wasn't what I thought it was, just getting more clients, and after really doing the math on acquisition and churn rates, I realized I wasn't even playing a winnable game to begin with. With my current price structure, mathematically, there was no way I could afford to pay my staff so I could scale up and out of the business, that I can have the time, the money, the impact, and the freedom that I always knew I was capable of. Once I learned how to add value by selling transformational programs to people who needed more than just workouts, everything changed in my life. Today, I own 6 gyms that all run without me, and I am free to pursue my passion projects and work just because I love to, not because I have to. And if that's a goal that we mutually share together, then this is the show for you. I'm going to teach you the framework to make way more money with less clients and open up a world of possibilities to you. Subscribe, leave a review, and tune in every week. It'll change your life. I promise you that. Today is going to be a Dave special, guys. Dave, as you know, I nickname him the Kool-Aid Man. He just gets people jacked up, fired up, and confident that they can sell programs for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. He's the best sales trainer on the planet, legitimately. So he's going to be taking this one, the majority of this one today. And so what we're going to come at you with is an objection handling masterclass. Guys, I don't care if you're right now, if you only have a $180 month membership to sell, or you've got a $3,000, $4,000 high ticket program to sell, you are all going to get price objections. You're all going to get them. So number one, you want to have a high ticket, a mid ticket in addition to your low ticket. But regardless, guys, this is a skill set you cannot afford not to have. It is something that Dave has spent a lot of time on and crafted a lot of reps in real life, not theory. And you have just championed some sales killers. I've seen it with my own eyes, and people who suck at sales end up breaking down objections and closing. It's insane. So yeah. Dave, let you take it away, man.
Dude, so comment below. Like, there's a lot of, if you're a personal trainer, if you're a gym owner, if you like the coaching aspect of what you do, like type in the box below coaching. Okay. Like this will come full circle. So I joined a objection handling mastermind. Shout out to Joe Marcoux. When was that, Scott? It was like right as maybe tail end of 2020. I started working with Joe.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I joined because I'm like, I want to know the exact script to say. So when they say, Dave, I got to talk to my cousin Vinny, I wanted to know the exact play-by-play script to say. And so honestly, it took me the first, I worked in that program for over a year and a half. It wasn't really until about the halfway point of my first year where I had my light bulb moment, and it hits the way that I teach objection handling even today. It's not about the script. Okay. So how many people, I know I was uncomfortable even when we launched our high ticket program back in 2020 with handling objections. I'm I want to know the exact scripts to say. But about halfway point through that year, I'm like, wait a second here. It's not about the script. This is the first opportunity that I get to coach people into taking action. So just like we get to coach people to doing, a barbell squat, or me and my high intensity leg press, I love that part of it. Or I like coaching someone how to put together a proper chicken sandwich. That gets me out of bed, right? So when I had that light bulb moment that it's not about money. It's not about, handling objections. It's just about coaching them into taking action. That was my light bulb moment. So we're going to go over some scripts today, and I'm really going to outline, guys, the typical conversation, the way that it goes in the high ticket space. So there's going to be a couple objections that we handle today, but let's start off this conversation with don't look at it as Dave is teaching me a new script. It's honestly, you can butcher this script. What I'm teaching you today, you could butcher this script as long as you change your mindset of, I'm a coach. That's what I do. I promise you, I'm not going to say you're going to enjoy having money conversations and overcoming it, but you're going to look at it way differently. So
And
look at
that's important because nobody wants to be, well, some people do. Very few, I should say, 5% of people actually want to like be a hard closer. Like I'm not a hard closer. I don't like backing people into a corner. That's how like they teach you with cars, like selling cars and shit like that, or memberships or whatever at LA Fitness. You know what I mean? It's like you need to back them into a corner, make them feel stupid, right? Like you just need to hammer them. And most of us don't feel comfortable doing that. We don't want to be that person. And then we get a negative connotation about sales.
Yeah.
But this is really important, guys. Dave's going to teach you how to. Joey's just hopped in. What's going on, Joey? Joey's a really good example of somebody who was not good at sales when he came into the program.
Mhm.
And Dave turned that around. Like he just wasn't confident with it. And Joey, holy shit, what you did, unbelievable. Because you got him selling like mid-ticket items. He was more comfortable there. Then a couple months into, now he's selling the high ticket. I remember that one day he cleared like 10 grand in new business in a day. I think it was from like three sales.
Yeah.
10, something like that.
Yep.
I think he had like maybe it was an 8K. He did like a 4K program. He did three 2Ks. That's what it was. It was 10K. Congrats, Joey, man. It's awesome. But yeah, it's really important. You guys got to feel comfortable with what you do. And a lot of people are scared of sales. You don't need to be. And that's why Dave's the Kool-Aid man.
Okay. Should we dive into this?
11K, Joey said. 11K in that
11K,
day.
baby.
Sweet.
Well,
that's not a bad day when you bring in $11,000 in new business. That's incredible.
Love it. Okay. I want to start at the beginning though. So now that we've established, like, change your mindset the way that you handle objections. Like you're coach first. There's a couple really like big things that I want to cover before we dive into. We're going to start with the money objections, especially in this economy, in this world. A lot of the people tuning in are like, what, who in the hell is going to spend $2 to $3 grand on a fitness program? So there's a couple check marks that you have to really achieve before transitioning to overcome objections. And this is exactly what we teach in our 8-week cohort. So there's really two things that have to happen, and you have to check off 2 boxes in order to sell a high ticket program and overcome objections. I'm going to share my screen. Scott, can you see the screen?
I can.
See the crazy dude? Like, you're nuts, Scott. Like, you guys at PTL charging thousands for your program. Dave, greenlight, man, $5,000 for a 13-week program? You smoking crack, right? So these objections are going to come out, especially in the fitness space, guys. Most people that come in, they've never heard of a $3,000 to $5,000 program. So of course, like that shock and all, that's going to be a part of the game. Now, there's 2 separate money objections though. I call this one the holy crap, you're a crazy person. There was one of our guys, Ryan McFadden. He went through our program way back. This is a couple years ago. And I remember his first PC, he did it with a cold Facebook person that was not qualified. So he should not have had the PC. He did the PC with her. And I believe at the very end of it, she threatened him with violence. So that's an example that rarely happens, right? But that's oh my God, you guys are nuts for charging $2,000, $3,000 for your program. So that is an objection. The more common money objection though is like, man, this program, it sounds really good, Dave. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, we're coming right out of the Christmas season. My wife got a little trigger happy with Amazon. So like, dude, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford it. So two different money objections. So it's the framework that we're going to cover today. Step number 1, you have to figure out like which money objection is it. But before we dive into that framework, guys, the 2 boxes that you have to check off to sell a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 program. Okay. There's 2 things. You have to figure out the level of pain that they're in or the level of gain they want to be in. So what do I mean by that? Let's take my client, Keith, he was my very first high ticket sell way back in the day. He clicked on the Snacking is for Losers video on LinkedIn, said, I want to work with this guy, Dave. He spent $5,000. Keith, to this day, he invests $20,000 a year to work with me. Now, he's a prime example of someone that we identified his gain. Okay. So Keith, high-end executive, he wanted to lose like 20, 25 pounds initially, but that wasn't the reason that he signed up for this program. It was the gain. So what we did in the sales process, we teach hell and heaven. In his heaven, Keith was getting ready to turn 60 years old, and he's getting ready to sell his business. And he said it. He said, I think this was verbatim. He's like, Dave, I want to live my best fourth quarter. I want to live my best fourth quarter. So what started out is a conversation about, hey, okay, you want to get in fit. We're going to have to eliminate some snacking, stay away from those almonds. What we did is we really uncovered that just Keith wanted to live his best fourth quarter. So even to this day, we do our weekly mentorship call on the stairs at Lifetime, and we always finish it with the fourth quarter, just like they do in college football. Like to this day, that's the reason that he invests $20,000 a year, because he wants to live his best fourth quarter. So guys, here's what I promise you. I call it the level 7 out of 10. If you can pull back the layers of the onion and identify a level of pain or gain north of 7, that is the client. That's exactly the type of client that will spend thousands of dollars on a program. So before we get into the money objection, you have to knock that off the list. You have to identify, man, this person is in here for way bigger reasons than just losing a couple pounds. If you don't do that, if you try to sell a $3,000 program so they lose 10 pounds, they're going to laugh at you. So step number 1, guys, in this dance we just did a mastermind in our cohort. We do a full week on this training, pain in the game, peeling back layers of the onion. Okay. So that's step number 1. Scott, do you have any follow-up questions when it comes to the pain or the gain?
No, but I will say that, like, if you don't know how to do that, we did a training last week that was super popular. This is why we're following up with the next step in the sales process, is buttoning up the sale and closing it down. And we invited people to come and be a fly on the wall or participate, whichever one you want to do, in one of your sales training calls. And we had a lot of people take you up on that. So I know that was helpful. And I'm just I didn't ask if it was okay, but like, comment legend if you want an invite to come into one of our sales training calls too, because you guys, it's so valuable. So just comment legend. Dave will reach out and like tell you a couple different days or times that you can come in and actually shadow this and see these live sales trainings. It's unbelievable. So anytime you want, comment legend down there. If you're watching a replay, comment legend. We'll still see it, and you can come in and join us. But
Killer,
go ahead.
probably going to be maybe a future legend, Brad Hall. He just finished off. He just joined us for our last cohort call. It was a freaking slam dunk. So Brad Hall, if you're listening in, man, because you said you're tuning right in, like give us a shout out, man. How was your experience? We went way deep into the pain and the gain in the monster recap. So if Brad is listening, man, shout out to you. Let's dive into this. So step number 1, Scott, pain gain, got to be a level or 7 out of 10. Ask yourself that, guys. Like in the PC, I asked myself, like, okay, did I do my job? Did I pull back layers of the onion? Have I identified a pain or a gain that's substantial? So that's step number 1. Step number 2, this is a fun part of it. And next week in our cohort, we covered this in week 3 of our cohort. You have to build freaking conviction in your sales pitch. Period. We're all selling the same crap, guys. We're selling fitness. We're selling nutrition. We're selling mentorship or accountability. If you don't have a high ticket program, we all have the same crap. Here's the thing though. We have Greenlight. Here's what I believe that we do better than anyone in the world at Greenlight. This is where my conviction. This is how I teach our Greenlight franchise owners to sell. We have the most time efficient, effective workout in the world, specifically for busy professionals, busy parents. I believe that wholeheartedly. From a nutritional end of business, I believe we simplify it better than everyone. We call it the 4F equation. We're going to build a strategy that is fun, flexible, that includes your family and friends so you can do it forever. The third thing that we do, every single one of our clients works with a mentor. That's our sales pitch. So guys, what I mean by conviction is not coming up with your uniques or your pillars just to say them. It's coming up to say, I have a freaking solution that I believe can change your life. So before we get into this framework, guys, if you nail these 2 pieces right here, you do a good job of pulling back the layers of the onion, and you truly believe that your program is the best in the world. And I'll go toe to toe with anyone. Hey, Greenlight program, your program, let's go toe to toe. Keep in mind, it has nothing to do with what your pillars, what your uniques are. It's how much you believe in them. So this is, I coined this term, confidence sells 6-week programs. Confidence. If I can teach anyone with confidence on how to sell $300 membership, $599 6-week program. What does it take to sell a $3,000, a $4,000, $5,000 program? It's looking them in the eyes and say, let's change your life today. So conviction, guys. So before we get into the framework here, these are two, like, you can't take the framework that I'm teaching objection handling and expect to sell a $3,000 program without covering these two things. And that's why before we even do objection handling in our cohort, we cover in depth 3 weeks of training on these two graphics that you just see. Does this make sense, Scott?
Makes absolute sense.
Okay. So money objection, guys, like I said, what is the price right now of eggs, Scott? Is it went down? Or is it still like freaking like $8 for organic eggs?
Probably. Yeah. I don't do the grocery shopping, but I do see the bills every now and again.
Yeah. The bottom line, guys, is freaking crap is expensive right now. Like we do little charcuterie board Mondays. And freaking crackers, like the organic, like Carrie's and my wife's all about being just organic and real. Like we pay like $9 for 14 crackers. So my point being here, guys, is we're in tough times right now. So anytime that you get that, Dave, like money is really tight. Step number one is to acknowledge that. All right. So you're not gonna like sugarcoat it, be like, dude, I get it. If I was handling this objection right now in person, I'd be like, I get it, dude. Like I was at the store a couple of days ago. We spent $98 for our charcuterie board. So acknowledge it. That's step number one, guys. You don't just want to dodge it and be like, oh, don't you just see the value in the program? You cannot skip steps. So step number one with the money objection, say, dude, I get it. Like Scott, brother, like it's tough times. It's a bad economy. Like coming out of Christmas, Carrie spent, I don't even know how much on Paw Patrol stuff. So I'm with you, brother. I get it. Acknowledge it, man. That's going to lower their guard. Okay. Step number two, and this is the important part, guys, you have to isolate. Is this about the affordability of the program? Just the sticker price? Or just to be clear, like, are you seeing the value? And are you not seeing the value in the program? So after you acknowledge it, guys, you have to peel back the layers. Like, is this, hey, they're not seeing eye to eye with the program, they don't see the value, or is it just about the price point of the program? Okay. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you did a good job, you slam dunk the pain in the gain, the conviction. Scott, what's going to happen? Is it going to be affordability or is it going to be the value?
Yeah. If you slam dunk it, it's really going to come down to the affordability.
Every time. I've never had someone say they didn't see the value in the program.
Yeah.
Because why? Because I have conviction. Anyone that goes through our cohort, they're coming out with conviction. So
conviction, and Dave teaches you exactly how to pitch it. You heard his, like, really quick. You're not getting in the details and the why, so they can argue with you and be like, well, I think, well, no. It's going to come down to, Dave will teach you how to do an amazing pitch, and then it's going to come down to affordability.
Yeah, it's affordability. It's an affordability objection, guys. Once you have conviction and you do a good job of pulling back the layers of the onion, there's going to be spousal. We're not going to cover that today. It's affordability at the end of the day. Now, keep in mind, there's going to be a little curveball I threw at you guys here. But for the sake of step number two, I'm going to get Scott to say, dude, it's just, man, it really is about the price point to the program. So step number three, guys, this is one that you cannot skip. Okay. Now, keep in mind, what did I do? I pulled out some pain earlier on. I built some gain. Okay. So my follow-up question, once I've isolated its affordability, I'm looking Scott right in his eyes and be like, dude, I want to make sure that we're on the same page here. Like, do you clearly see how going through this 63-day transformation, you and I are locking arms and going to war, how you're coming out, how you're going to lose some weight, you're going to have more confidence, but more importantly, you're just going to be the best version of yourself as a dad. So I'm bringing back in, because keep in mind, guys, when they hear $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, people crap themselves. They forgot all about that emotion that just took place the first 40 minutes of the conversation. It's so key with that money objection that you tie that back in to where you're tying back into that emotional part of their brain. You're getting out of the analytics. That's why step number three is so important. So step number three is like, dude, do you see this? Because if you don't, that's fine. Let me know. Do you see how going through this program, you're coming out a new Scott? They say yes to that. Then from here, guys, this is where you can customize a payment plan. So step number four, it's looking Scott in the eyes and saying, dude, like, you're exactly the type of dad that we work with. So here's what I want to do for you. Let's put our heads together right now and let's put together a strategy. Let's put together a customized payment plan so we don't kick this can down the road another day. Let's put together a plan, a strategy with a payment so we can start this program right now. How does that sound, brother? Does that sound fair? So I just customized an option. Now, there's a couple different ways that this can go. A lot of times guys, this would clear up the objection. If it's someone that I'm like, my God, there's a lot of pain there. So there's a lot of gain there. I tied back in where they want to go on the journey. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if we customize a payment plan, like, would that help you out so we can get going on this thing right now? You're going to get some yeses from there. But guess what, Scott? You're going to get some no's. You're not going to get some no's. You're going to get the, I need to think about it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Nobody's going to tell you no, hardly. They're going to give you the workaround because they're just not. They either want to do it and they don't think they can afford it, or they don't want to tell you no, they feel bad. So they're going to say that. That's the dreaded one, right? I need to think about it. And then you're like, fuck, well, I don't know where to go from here. They're like, okay, well, get back to me. You know what I mean? Or you set up a follow-up call, whatever. So yeah, what do you do here, Dave?
Yeah, so this is it, guys. So like, let's do a little recap to get to this point, okay? Dude, God, man, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to money-wise put this thing together. Acknowledge it, isolate it, make sure that they see where you guys are going together. Offer the payment plan. Dave, dude, I mean, it sounds good, man. The payment plan would definitely help. I still need to marinate on it for 24 hours. Okay. So at this point, guys, there's only two things that's going on. Only two. Number one, times are tough. Maybe they can't, maybe even a customized payment plan is not going to work. That happens. That's fine. That's why we also teach our mid-ticket, which we're getting ready to downsell into. So that's option number one. There's a fork in the road. Okay. So I'm asking them, like, Scott, like, be real, be honest with me, man. Like I loved our conversation today. Like, what specifically do you need to think about, man, that we didn't cover today? So I want to pull out, like, is it truly an affordability issue? Because if so, man, like, let me know, be honest. This payment plan isn't going to work. Let me know. Or, and this, guys, this is the transition, is there that little voice inside of your head that's saying, Dave, what happens if I invest $4,000 into this program and I don't get the result? So I want to isolate right there, guys, because that's going to be that's going to be one of the next two objections. Okay. Then from this fork in the road, now I can offer them that next solution. Okay. Is it solely about the money, Scott? Or is there that little voice inside of your head saying, like, what happens if I invest all this money and I don't lose a freaking pound? From there, it's either going to be fear or it's going to be like, Dave, like, this program sounds great. I just can't afford it. This is where it gets fun, guys. And this is exactly what we teach in our cohort. Now I have two different solutions. Okay. Let's just say it's, dude, Scott, or you're Dave, man, I really do, man. I want to do the program, the payment plan, like, it helps, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, at this point in time, it's just not going to work. Okay. So the transition, guys, this is where you can pull out your notepad, work together with T-Hutch, like, Scott, brother, if we could put together a strategy, a program that has 80% of what our mentorship program has, and we can get you some quick wins the next 6 weeks, would you be down for that? Yeah. Every single person in the world says yes to that. And I've done my job. I've isolated that is pure affordability. So yeah, 80%. And keep in mind, guys, what we teach in our mid-ticket, it really does have 80%. You're getting tons of accountability. You're getting a mentorship call. You're just not getting all of the support as that one-on-one high-ticket program. That's what we spent the last year in PTO and Greenlight, really making our slam dunk, no-brainer freaking option. It's the 6-week offer. But keep in mind, guys, how many more people are going to say yes to your high ticket? I still have my mid-ticket in my back seat for that person that just cannot afford it for whatever reason. I have my downsell offer. Dude, if we could put together a program for you that has 80% of what our mentorship program has, we can get you some quick wins the next 6 weeks. Would you be down for that? Everyone says yes. Transition, we won't get into the meat and potatoes. You hit your 2 or 3 bullet points of your 6-week, your mid-ticket program. Guess what, guys? That's going to close a high percentage of the time. That's wins. Fahad, who is in our latest cohort, shout out to Fahad. He put I'll put the message in the comments, guys. He's like, Dave, here's what I'm learning so far. Just by having a best option on the menu, I'm selling a whole hell of a lot more of my better options. Yeah. So keep in mind, guys, Fahad's only selling a couple high tickets at this point, but that's his big win. I told him, I go, brother, that's the win right there. Do that over the course of the year. Your entire model is going to change. Yep.
Joey, who commented earlier that we were talking about, who did 11K in that one day. He started with a lot of his mid tickets. right? He didn't have that conviction yet in the high ticket. So for him to sell a $4,000 program when he was only selling, shoot, what was yours? $150 for CrossFit memberships, Joey? I can't quite remember what it was then. You know, that was a big stretch for him. He didn't have that confidence, that conviction. But having that high ticket, that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 program allowed him to sell his mid ticket, which what did he have it at? 1,000 or 1,200? I can't remember what he had it at.
Yeah. I'm
A while
not,
ago.
he stair stepped it up. And that's the beautiful thing, guys. As your closing percentage jumps with either your high ticket or mid ticket, you can always increase those prices too.
Yep. But yeah. I mean, some of you might be really scared to sell a $3,000, a $3,500 program. Well, just use that as the anchor and you'll get them on the mid ticket, which you can sell for $5.99 to $14.99, really.
Can I tell you the game I play on the onboarding session, Scott? You actually enjoy this. I don't know. So I call it the butthole puckering game. So when coming up with price points, I put people on the spot. Like yesterday, shout out to Mario, great onboarding with Mario. That guy's going to freaking crush it. So I'm like, $12.99. Does that make your butthole pucker? And he's like, no. $1,500. No. $2K. That's your price point. So guys, if you're coming out, hey, what should I charge for my high ticket program right here? Right? Play that game, because I guarantee what's going to happen. If you go too high, you lose your conviction. If you lose your conviction, doesn't matter how much pain or gain, they're going to say no to the program. You're going to get tons of objections. So just know that, guys, like you don't have to come swinging out of the gates with a 3K high ticket program. Find your level, make sure that you can deliver that price point where you maybe get a little bit uncomfortable, but you still have that conviction. You'll get yeses. And the more yeses you get, the higher your price point. Jeff and Tina, if you guys are tuning in from St. Louis, they're closing over 90% of people on a high ticket 2K program. So if they're listening right now, I've already told them 3 times, it's time to increase that price point to 2,500. So as time goes on, guys, you will be able to increase that price point. Okay. What about that person though, guys, when you ask about that little voice inside of their head? So that little voice inside of your head that says, man, this program it's pricey. It is. What happens if I go through this program, man, and just nothing happens? I've been burnt before. I've done the 6-week challenge. I've hired Carter Good. I've worked with online coaches and just, man, nothing's happened. And every freaking time I just feel more frustrated, more let down. Fear, guys. That's the biggest driving force behind the majority of objections. Most people, if their life is on the line, they find the money. I know I found the money when I didn't have it to invest in myself. It was the fear. The fear is a driving force behind most objections. So utilizing this framework here, guys, just asking them, hey, there's that little voice inside of your head that says, you know, what if I do this program and, you know, not jack squat happens? And you can see their body language changes, guys. And they're like, yeah. It's not a money objection. That's a fear objection. So the framework here, guys, once I've identified that it's just the fear, it's the fear of jumping into the pool and just going for it, it's holding them back, then I can offer them 100% money back guarantee. We execute it utilizing the best case, worst case. Okay. So let's rewind the clock a little bit. Pain and gain, right? In the pain and gain, basically what you're doing is you're pulling out all of their pain and you're building up all of their heaven where they want to go. And typically you're going to find 2 or 3 bullet pointed words in both. Okay. So Megan, who was on our last call, she's a mom expert. Like typically like the mom's hell points are what? Like Scott, I know this with Carrie. I think you probably see this with Nicole. It's like, it's just hard for them to make time for themselves. They always put themselves on the back burner. Okay. They compare, especially if it's a mom, they look at their body from when they're in their 20s. So there's just that sense that they've lost themselves. Okay. Yep. And then it's just, they're drained. They're exhausted. For the most part, guys, with most moms, that's going to be the hell. In the heaven, what do they want? They want to feel like themselves again. Yeah, they want to lose a couple pounds, but they want to feel like themselves. And even more importantly than that, they want to put themselves one. Okay. So that's the best case scenario. So what the monster recap here, guys, is in correspondence to the best case, worst case, you're just bringing back the monster recap. Okay. So paint me the picture, the transition here. If I've isolated that as fear, like Scott, like, dude, number one, I get it, man. I've invested in things and been, bitten in the tush. I guess my question, brother, is like, can I coach you real quick? Everybody says yes. So they just gave me permission. I just asked for, can I coach you? They say yes. So the next question is, hypothetically, Scott, let's say that you bring out your Amex. We charge that sucker for $3,000. Paint me the picture of the worst possible scenario. What's the worst thing that could happen? Nuclear bomb. Paint that picture for me. Typically, guys, what you're going to get from here is what? You're going to, man, I'm not going to see results. I'm not going to lose weight. So this is key, guys. If you're taking notes, this is the most important. This is what we go all in during our cohort training on this. You have to have a follow-up question. How would that make you feel? You go through this program, 9 weeks, you don't lose a pound. How are you going to feel? And then I'm going to get into that, man, I'm still going to feel stuck. I'm still going to feel uncomfortable. What's the worst case scenario, guys? And the way you're handling this objection, they're in exactly the same spot as they are today. That's the worst possible outcome. If they move forward with the program and nothing happens, they feel exactly the way, or maybe even worse than they feel right there. But what's the best case scenario? Same question. Paint me the picture of the best possible outcome. 9 weeks from now, we lock arms, we go to war. What's the best possible outcome? Keep in mind, I'm not saying it, guys. I'm asking them. You're down 10 pounds. How much more energy are you going to have? A ton. How much more time are you spending with the kids? Dude. So what you're telling me is best case scenario, 9 weeks from now, you're putting on your Superman cape. You're super dad. Yeah. You feel like yourself again. Yes. You're taking Nicole to the bedroom and you guys are having some fun. Yes. I'm building the best case scenario. So once we've established that, guys, guess what? Now I've brought that raw emotion back into the coaching moment. So that is super simple. Like, Scott, here's what my promise is to you, man. This is how much certainty I have in what we deliver. There's going to be two things that I'm going to ask of you. If you move forward with the program, can you clock in? You're not going to be perfect, but can you give me 80% compliance week in and week out? Yeah, I can give you 80%. Can you show up to your mentorship calls? That's where we change. That's where we overcome obstacles together. Can you show up to every single one of your mentorship calls? Yes. I'm not, notice, guys, I'm not putting a results guarantee. I'm a huge fan of the service guarantee. And we've taken probably at this point, thousands of people around the world through the 63-day transformation. And here's what I can guarantee. We have a 34-page playbook that shows step-by-step on how to fulfill the program. If you fulfill it, they show up to their mentorship calls, they give you 80%, they're going to be blown away with the service. So notice I'm not giving them a weight loss guarantee. That's what the 6-weekers do. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not in charge of the scale. What I am in charge of, what you guys are in charge of, kind of start the conversation. You're a coach. You are all coaches at heart. So bringing that into the service. Here's what my guarantee to you, Scott. If you can do those two things for me, and at the end of these 9 weeks, if you're not freaking blown away with the man you're becoming and the service that we've given you week in and week out, I will refund every single dollar back. That's how you guys present the best case, worst case. It's important, guys. You have to tie in that raw emotion, and then you can smash that fear with, hey, best case scenario, you're super dad. Worst case scenario, you feel exactly the same. Guess what? That's not going to happen on our watch. That's never happened. I do ask for those 2 micro commitments. Can you do this and this? And I let them know if you're not willing to do this and this, program doesn't work. They always say yes to those 2. Once you get to that point, guys, service guarantee. Then from there, what does that do? Takes maybe off of the table. And I can tell you the one thing that makes me sick at my stomach is doing follow-ups on maybes. I hate it. I built the way that we teach sales to eliminate maybes. And if someone wants to say, you know what, this guarantee sounds good, I'm not in the spot to do it. I did my job. Because how did we start this conversation, guys? You guys are coaches at heart. And I coach them into taking action. They actually feel empowered walking out saying no. You're doing them a disservice if they walk out with a maybe. So that was action-packed, Scott. Did we miss anything there?
No, it's you guys know, you guys have felt it. You guys have known it's like, God, they need this so bad. I have exactly what they need. And we let them go away with, I'll think about it, or a maybe. And we leave, like, those are the ones that hurt. Because we didn't have the right strategy on how to handle that. We know we failed as a coach because, like, it's a fucking, like, what are your alternatives? In 10 years, you're going to be dead. You're going to fucking die in 10 years sometimes. And I was too chicken shit to do something about it, or I didn't know how. And I know when you're just like, if you're watching this live for the first time, it seems like there's a lot of steps. There actually isn't. How many steps are there really, Dave?
Oh man, I mean, if you take a look at it, we'll do a nice little recap for everyone. So basically, all objections, they start here. They're going to start with I need to think about it. When you ask them what they need to think about, what are they going to say? They're going to say, my God, that's a lot of money. So step number one, once you get that, you acknowledge it. So I get it, man. We're in rough times right now. Just to be clear, is this just about strictly the price point of the program, or are you just not seeing eye to eye with the value of the program? Well, yeah, Dave, the program sounds fantastic, man. It's honestly, it's just about the affordability. So just to be clear, like you see the exact man you're going to become if we lock arms and do this program together. Yes. Well, dude, let's do this here. Because I feel you're exactly the type of dad that you're exactly the type of dad we built this program for. Let's put our heads together. Let's customize a payment plan to get you going on this thing right now. Ah, man, that helps, but I still need to think about it. Dude, number one, like 100%, like I respect you just coming out and just being so honest with me. So I just want to clarify one more time. This is just strictly about the money, or is there that little voice inside of your head that says, like, I'm going to spend $2,000 and I'm freaking terrified of not getting the result? Well, yeah, after thinking, yeah, man, like I've been burnt before. Dude, I completely understand. Here's what do I have permission to coach you? Yeah. Paint me the worst case nuclear bomb scenario. If you move forward with this program, what happens 9 weeks from now? Well, I don't see results. Well, Scott, how would that make you feel, man? Well, I'd be frustrated. I would be stuck. Ask a couple more follow-up questions. Paint the best case scenario. Best case scenario, you move forward with a program. What type of Scott are you 9 weeks from now? Why, I would lose the weight. Well, what would that mean? What would that mean to your energy levels? Describe that. So what I'm hearing from you is 9 weeks from now, you're the best version of yourself as a dad. You're down some weight and you have 10 out of 10 confidence. Yes. Eliminate it with the 100% money back guarantee. So it's not very many steps at all. Like that was a really rapid fire way. What did that take me 2 minutes to go through? Now, keep in mind, guys, that's why in our cohort, we go all in with the live reps. It's just like working out. Like this comes very natural to me just because like I've been in clubs. I've handled these exact objections. I've created these frameworks. Every single legend that goes through the program, we just make our frameworks better. And the only reason we can do that, the only reason how we can do that is if we're connecting it, pulling out what is working here in current times, and making it specifically for them. So it's changed so many times the last 3 years, the frameworks.
Yeah, it's the reps that are important. And so anybody that that we work with, we do reps and reps and reps, and on, you know, from the discovery call to the perfect consultation to your pitch, finding your own voice of the pitch so you have that conviction, right? You can state it, and then closing it down, buttoning up and overcoming objections. And when you get the repetitions in on this, holy shit, you get good, man. And yeah, it's just incredible. But you need the reps. You can't just watch this video or read a script and then you're good to go. You're never going to be able to recall that in that real life situation. It's you need to get in the reps. So guys, for those of you who would love to come in and sit on one of these calls that Dave is doing this live, and you can either A, just be a wallflower if you're shy, or B, like join in and like give it a shot. And it's okay. Everybody sucks to start with, and then you get good. Yeah, comment legend. And there's a couple of you, Derek. I don't know if I can scroll down that far anymore on the comments. There was a couple beneath Derek, but yeah, we'll reach out to you. We'll couple dates and times. We'll have you come in, join it. Obviously, you know, Dave's going to be the guy doing it. So, yeah, it'd be great, man. Dave, that was excellent. It's cool to see like how this just continues to get better and better and better over the last 2-3 years. It's incredible now.
I was talking to Brad at the end of our cohort call, and like I told him, I would feel like a fraud if we didn't own gyms. It's a freaking completely different world. It's a different economy than when we first launched our program. When we first launched the program, I was selling it to people who couldn't speak English. I didn't have any skills. Like it's different. So what's very important, guys, is we have to adapt. Like we have to adapt as PTL with the time. So I changed some framework. I changed scripts legitimately. Probably every 1 to 2 cohorts, I'm changing it. It's because like I see what's going on in our Greenlight Basic Club. I have day-to-day interaction with our GM and our business partner, Brandon. He's letting me know. So we have to adjust. So if you're not adjusting with the times, like what works.
That's why so many gyms are struggling right now. right?
Mhm.
The old
Yes.
6-week challenges, that only works in like a very small, minute amount of gyms now and areas and market conditions. And it's just, but everybody just keeps teaching the same shit that worked 5 or 6 years ago. It's not 5 or 6 years ago. It's today. I don't
Mhm.
care how married you are to something. If it's not working, you have to change and adapt with the times.
Mhm.
That's why we're survivors. I mean, I started the first gym almost 12 years ago.
Mhm.
Vastly different, and it's going to continue to change and evolve based on market conditions and what works and what doesn't, because holy shit, these large group high volume places, they are hurting big time. These big franchises are even trying to pivot. Now they go very slowly, but
Mhm.
man, it's dire for a lot of people out there. You have to be willing to change and adapt 100%. And this is not theory. This is not shit that worked a few years ago. This is to the day. We own 7 gyms, right? We own 7 gyms, and this is what we do. And this is what our best people do. So, guys, I appreciate you investing the time in watching this thing. Comment legend if you want to come in. If you're watching the recording, do so. Yeah, it's tough out here even with high volume. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Orange Theory Fitnesses in my area are struggling. Yeah, I'm not going to
Yes.
disclose certain
Yeah.
things around us, but like there's 2 that are probably not going to be renewing leases. And that's considered like the cream of the crop, Orange Theory Fitnesses. So guys, take the jump. You got to adapt with the times. Don't hang on to what worked years ago. So anything to add, Dave?
That's it, man. It was good. Good energy on here today.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Guys, yeah, comment legend. And then every Thursday, same time, same place, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. We're showing up live to teach you exactly what we're doing, exactly what's working for us in other gyms around the world. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 a month or more this month by making more money with less clients and create a consistent flow of high-quality leads, you can learn about what it's like to work with me and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. And if you got any value out of this episode, please pay it forward and leave a review for this show. It helps other gym owners find the answers to the huge problems that we all share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.